Take Two, Season 2. Welcome, wandering souls, to the Black Rabbit Society, a Call of Cthulhu actual play presented by Table Quests. A word of warning before we go any further: this evening's entertainment is a horror story featuring adults who may use adult language. We may have adult themes. That's just our blanket warning because we can't say for certain what's going to come up in advance. Thank you all so much. Before we get into who's involved, all the shoutouts, a quick recap of what happened last season. Very quick because a lot happened. Our investigators, you're going to be interested in them again in just a second, were caught in a metaphysical entanglement of multiple timelines and realities as a Leviathan from beyond time and space was being lured towards Manhattan, New York, and was causing all sorts of problems and strangeness. They were part of a game of cat and mouse between a father and son, fighting for the future of the world, fighting for different interpretations of reality, and ultimately there was a lot of people who died in the process. I really recommend checking it out. It's a good, fun time, but you don't super need to know all of that before we get in today. We're going to start off with a little bit of a recap of what everyone's been up to since last time. Tommy Cole and Horace Young are in an asylum, and we are jumping forward to November 3rd. So it's been a few months, but before we get to the rest of that, we have our cast. We got Joel playing Herbert Francis Devenald.
Hello again.
Drew playing Horace Charles Young, reporting from the Arkham Asylum.
Willkommen.
Kyle playing Dr. Raymond Fox.
Delighted to be back. I'm surprised we survived.
Kendra playing the mono named Olive.
Hello, hello.
And we've got Ben playing Thomas Tommy Cole, also in Arkham Asylum.
Oh, I've got scores to settle.
Some huge thanks before we get going. We've got some new maps coming out with this episode. You're going to see those in a little bit. Those are provided by Stygian and Fox, who've been super awesome to let us access and use some of their art and maps. We got to thank the Dungeon Sketcher for doing the character art. It's awesome. Maybe there's more coming from the future. We don't know yet. You're going to have to find out. You can also see some of us come back every Wednesday night for Dungeons & Dragons. That's Doors and Deities. Same place, tomorrow time. Our very own Joel runs Ravenloft campaigns, professional dungeon master. You can find him at StartPlaying.Games/GM/leonidas-games. All these links are going to be in the show notes or the bubbly below or our link tree, all the other places. We also have a Curse of Strahd game coming up very soon. Would you be so kind as to give the quick pitch on that?
Yes, absolutely. I'll be running that game as well, though not in this particular persona. We will also have Kendra joining us for that campaign, along with a number of other very excellent character actors, and that will be running every other week on Sunday evenings here on this channel.
Excellent. So you can always make sure to check that out. They're running through, is it a vanilla Curse of Strahd, or are you taking some...
Quite a bit of liberty in the beginning. We'll actually be starting in Victorian London and moving from there into Ravenloft.
Excellent. So huge change, definitely worth checking out. Let's get down to it. We're going to start with the New York team. That is Dr. Raymond Fox and Olive and Herbert Francis Devenald. You all spent, well, I think all of you, if I recall correctly, had to spend at least some time in the hospital. For some of you, that ranged out to a few weeks or a month or two. So you lost some of the summer months to rest and recuperation, recovering from broken bones, burns, and just the fatigue of it all. A few months later, or a few weeks to a month or two later, you got out, and after a few days and then weeks of concern there'd be something else, waiting for the other shoe to drop, life seemed very content to resume much apace as it had been before. There was no sight of strange beasts in the sky, no lost time, no other oddities. It seemed that with the apparent death of both the Cartwrights, things had settled into a modicum of normalcy. All of you had the cat, which you last recalled seeing in the burning house, show up at your home a few days later, a little covered in ash, but not that much worse for wear. I believe you were in the hospital, so in fact, your father took the cat in, and had taken to calling it just Cat. In the level of creativity that befits all unimaginative fathers. Not that all fathers are unimaginative, just there's that certain salt of the earth that is just like every dog is named dog or boy. Every cat is named cat. Without going into all the little bits and pieces of what everyone's been up to, we're just going to do a quick recap for each person and go over what they've been focusing on. We're going to start with Dr. Raymond Fox.
Raymond spent his time recuperating, racking his brain, trying to find a way to write up the events that we had all experienced in a way that wouldn't get him, well, sent to go hang out with Tommy and Horace. And failing that, and consulting with members of the editorial team at the paper that his family owns, he's taken to long drives just to mull things over, and has gained a small degree of control over the automobile. Small.
Excellent. So definitely an opportunity to improve. So just kind of taking life more normal, easing back into things. I'm going to have you make... You think he spent more time focused, more not time necessarily, but effort, focus was on the job or on the car or on something else?
It was hard to say. More technically, I think, on the car, because
On the car.
he was like thinking about it while he was driving.
Excellent. So I'm going to let you make another drive auto advancement check for representing you spending the focus on that, which you can just handle there. I'm going to note as well, you're cutting in and on audio. If you can take a quick look at that.
I'll take a glance there.
We're going to... Mr. Horace Young, I am sorry. Oh, that wasn't me. That was someone else. Professor Herbert Francis Devenald, what have you been focused on over the summer months into autumn?
Well, the events of the previous days brought the lack of time and attention that I have paid to my son and his family to mind, and well, when you nearly lose your life and you see others pass and things are occurring that you can't explain, spending time with family seems significantly more important. And so I have spent a good amount of my time at my son's home and visiting briefly and writing regularly to my granddaughter, to my son's daughter, Dolores. However, my mind won't let go of what happened on those fateful days, and, well, I did manage to leave that pit of fire, that house of darkness and evil, with a particular book in my hands. And so I have been spending much of the time that I am alone or simply not actively participating in family activities, reading and studying the occult du monde and trying to make sense and make connections between that book and my experiences and what I know to be true biblically.
Okay, so you have a first, after you get out of you're discharged and you get out and start to resume life a little bit, you have a few strained dinners with your son and his family. There's that gulf of things left unsaid, and no one seems to be able to reach it. And summer turns to autumn. You are spending more time as the heat flees the city a bit faster than most years. Even in mid-September, it's colder than normal. One evening, you find yourself deep in the Côte du Monde in comparing those notes, and you think you're close to a breakthrough.
Yes.
When you get a phone call, which you're in the housing, so it would not be in your own room. You get called down. Apparently, it's your son. His work has given him tickets to a show, and he's called to invite you out. He says, I mean, it's some gaudy thing about celebrating the gangsters, but I have to make an appearance if you want to join.
Thank you for thinking of me, Timothy. The last time I attended a vaudeville or some such thing, it didn't end well, and I if I'm being honest, I'm not overly comfortable being in a theater at this time, but if it would make your time pass more pleasantly, then I would certainly be willing to meet you there.
Don't come on my account. It's more a matter of I have a ticket, and I have to endure this either way.
Well, if there's someone else you'd rather have along, I understand, and feel free to give the ticket away then.
All right, take care, Dad.
You as well, my boy. Give my love to everyone.
Will do. And he hangs up, and you head back to the books. You can make a special Cthulhu Mythos advancement check right now for spending that time. You're starting to drift away from the family a little bit, spending more and more time in books as you get into autumn.
And that's just the Mythos skill check?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that is quite a failure.
You'll be gaining 12 more Mythos points, which is close to the maximum you can wring out of this book.
Excellent.
You will, however, also be losing some sanity for that. Only 2.
I think I may lose more because my maximum has gone down.
If your maximum's gone
12.
down more, your maximum goes down first, and then you lose another 2 on top of that.
All right.
It's over the period of weeks and months, so there's no need for that. It's just your hold of the reality that normal human minds have is starting to erode as you start to collate some things.
Well, I am at 70 of 72 for sanity then.
There we go. I will note that from that and your reading, you have managed to make some deductions and confirmations. For example, you know as well as you could know anything, that both of the Cartwrights are gone and deceased with what you've done. You do not appear to have the ritual to bring back that Leviathan if you wanted to from this. There's something missing from your recollection, but you have a lot of pieces to potentially put together other rituals from there should the need arise. You're also especially astute at identifying and dealing with someone who's using this same kind of level of understanding.
I see.
As for trying to reconcile it with Christian beliefs,
yes.
You find yourself looking a lot to the Rosicrucians and to John Dee and other older. They represented themselves as Christians, and various Christian denominations have disagreed on whether they're apostates or heretics. But you find yourself at least considering their work. And D is framing it a lot as magic or any of this, what you're discovering is the work of angels. And he would frame it very much as you are learning the language of angels. You are learning the language that God or whatever higher power is using upon the world. That was his approach. The Rosicrucian one is more of, this is just another part of God's creation. Another one that you can navigate with and you can work through. And much like everything from electricity to liquor, there are good and bads. It's part of the larger creation. It is a tool that can be wielded as easily for good or ill, for his glory or against it. And then, of course, there's always the long tradition of witch finding, both in America and overseas, which would suggest that everything you're reading is the work of Satan and other fell beings.
Understood.
So it's up to you which of those you want to believe and internalize, which I don't need an answer now by any stretch. Just different views exist on reconciling these two different aspects of things.
Understood.
Olive, what have you been up to?
Okay, so I know I was pretty burned sitting on 1 HP when we last left off. So how long have I been in the hospital for?
What's your maximum HP again? Remind me.
13.
13. So the minimum time you're spending in the hospital is probably a month and a half. I can roll it out if you would like.
Hey, whatever you want, man. I just, Olive's not doing well.
Give me a second, I'm doing math. So Olive went into the hospital second week of June and doesn't get out until the second week of August.
Okay.
I will note, everyone who is from the New York team, your wounds are all gone. You're back to full hit points. And I don't believe any of you had permanent insanities of any kind.
Not I.
Well,
So yeah, okay, so that happened. So when Olive gets out of the hospital, she's had a lot of time to sit with her thoughts and all that's happened. And she's at a point where she can't even be in denial that it happened. She tries to go and do her favorite pastime activity of just going to feed the birds in the park. And when she does that, she just inherently is just so paranoid that she can't even enjoy the things she used to. So when she tries to live a normal life, tries to pretend like everything's okay, she does complete 180 and it's just, now I need to be prepared for anything that, I can't burn with a Molotov cocktail. So she's going to spend the rest of the time of just putting her entire self into the gym and working out to the point where she's losing jobs. And, she's also drinking a lot more because it's a lot that she went through. So basically she's just drunk, can't hold a job. She cut all contact off probably with this gang. She's like, I can't, I gotta focus on me. And then she also, one thing I really wanted to do was she would get a tattoo of a black rabbit because she doesn't want that memory to ever be wiped away. It's a physical thing of this happened. I am acknowledging it. And I refuse to let anybody say that this didn't happen.
So I got two questions. I got two things for you. One is,
Okay.
where do you get a tattoo?
I imagine the gym Olive trains at. It's not really a gym. It's like
No,
kind of
physically
just...
wear on your person.
Oh, on her wrist.
Okay.
Yeah. On her left wrist too, the arm that got weakened.
Okay. And I'm gonna get you to make me a luck roll.
Oh no.
Cool.
Great start.
Cool. So, yeah, you spent, as you said, you spent a lot of time bouncing between jobs. You end up doing some amount of, rather than the bartending you're used to, you end up basically not irregularly doing janitorial work at the gym or at the arena, just to kind of make ends meet and keep up your membership fees. You are able to get back into fighting shape, because 2 months in the hospital is not great, and with terrible hospital food, it's not going to be much better. I'll let you make a fighting brawl advancement for that. And then, well, that's not an advancement, unfortunately. And then I'm going to leave the three of you for a moment, and we're going to move up to Massachusetts, up the Miskatonic River in the small town of Arkham. Tommy, I rolled for your psychiatric care first. You can make me 3 sanity rolls, and there is no potential to lose sanity points for this.
Oh.
The doctors
Okay.
treating you did fantastic.
That's a good start. Let's have a look at this.
Ignore that. I didn't mean to roll anything.
It's good.
That's a failure. That's a hard success. And that's a failure.
Well, you actually have a pretty decent time, all things considered. You're going to recover another additional 4 sanity, and any insanities you have are cured. You end up going through like a bit of talk therapy. You very quickly are able to kind of establish a rapport with the physicians there. Within a couple of weeks, you're able to like walk the grounds without much supervision. They let you smoke. You can't drink. Food is probably a bit more vegetarian than you're used to. But all things considered, it ends up being a fairly like calming and positive experience for you. And the other side of it, we have to wait to see what happens with Horace. So I'm going to make the treatment rolls for Horace. Fantastic. Horace, you to make me 2 sanity checks. Look, just be glad you didn't get any critical fails on their rolls. Because critical fail, that goes real bad for them.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Horace, you're going to recover 4 sanity. And for you, it starts worse. Yes, you can go above your starting. It starts worse. You are in a much worse position coming in. And you had a couple of weeks where for you now, it is lost time. Your first couple of weeks of treatment are a black hole of lost memory. But you eventually end up, similarly, you build a rapport. They have you under a bit more control, especially at the beginning. You don't earn the same level of freedom as quickly as Tommy does. But before too long, you end up in a not dissimilar situation of you're allowed to walk the grounds. You are again able to join the rest of the group. And by the group, I mean the other patients for meals. So you're able to meet up with Tommy again, and the two of you are able to exchange notes, as it were. You've both been heavily encouraged by the treatment here not to really talk about what happened in the other place. They don't believe you. And both you comply pretty quickly, like, look, I just need to get out of here. Tommy, you end up spending more time there than you would have had to, solely because they couldn't find someone to release you into the care of.
That's incredibly sad but true.
The characters you gave me, one of them's a crime boss. He's not coming to bail you out.
Oh yeah, no one's that helpful, really.
But after a bit of time, they managed, of Horace recovering, Penelope Young comes up and has a meeting with the two of you. The physicians made it quite clear that this is basically, you're not, given the circumstances you came in under, they don't want to just let you go. They kind of want to discharge you to someone. And it become very clear of, like, maybe Penelope's that person. Horace, do you share any information with Tommy about Penelope in advance?
Probably just essentially older sister, haven't really spoken in a while. She kind of drifted away from the rest of the family in just kind of over time. So this may be a bit frosty. She's also not going to sound German, because she is from Wisconsin.
So the two of you are given one of the doctor's offices to speak with her in. The medical record's been taken out, but nice leather chairs. And remind me, how long it's been? A few years since Horace has seen Penelope last, right?
Oh yeah, it would have been before he left to Europe.
Yes, so quite a few years.
So quite a few years.
You recognize her as she comes in. She has the very high buttoned up blouse. She has a cameo at her neck, a long floor length skirt, and starting to get the hints of gray at the temples already. And she comes in and she goes, Horace.
Penelope, it's good to see you.
I wish I could say the same. And your compatriot?
Oh,
Yes.
hi, Tommy. It's nice to meet you.
Penelope Young. And she'll hand out.
Oh, Tommy awkwardly kind of kissed the hand, just kind of taken aback more than anything.
He certainly has better manners than who I expected to find you with.
You know, I can give you guys a minute if you need. Like, I don't need to be here.
No, it's all right. You should stay.
The hospital's asked me to assume liability for you, so I suppose that might be better as well.
I am sorry we had to meet like this. I never quite pictured it this way.
Strangely not dissimilar from what I pictured, unfortunately.
I suppose you were always right.
What did you
Only
do?
the
Is this like the other young boy? I do read the papers. What is that? 2 now?
No,
To
I,
what? What?
I,
What's she
I
talking
will
about,
explain
Horace?
later. I will explain later. No, my situation is a result of traumatic experiences suffered by myself and several others who managed to avoid my fate. You are always right, it seems. Only the mad pursue psychology.
She sits, sitting very prim. She has her hands crossed in her lap, knees together, and she goes, "What would you do if you were to be able to leave?"
I have thoughts about this. Not a small amount. I imagine I cannot go back to my practice in the city. My reputation cannot be salvaged, I would not think. There's a man, a professor from Colombia, I believe it was. Named Devenald. A man with whom I formed a close friendship. I believe I should go to him. And continue to seek the truth.
You won't even think of going back, going home. It seems leaving behind to the big city has been more harm for you than good.
You were long gone by the time I had this conversation with our father.
But he does still write me. I know you might not know what that's like, but he does know how to pick up a pen.
There is nothing for me back there.
And you, Mr. Cole, what would you do? Tommy's just sort of awkwardly lighting a cigarette, and is like, well, I travel a lot. I go looking for treasure, trinkets, for museums and things. So I won't even be America's problem for much longer. I will stick around for a while to make sure Horace is settling in okay, if that helps. He's kind of all I have here out in the city at the moment.
You said a Professor Devenald?
Yes.
Perhaps I'll look into him. It seems that may be a better fit. I can't certainly take responsibility for this kind of gallivanting.
Well, of course, we would be out of your hair immediately.
No, I suspect I'll be out of yours. I wish I could say that it was a pleasure. Gentlemen?
Tommy just kind of nods.
And she gets up and leaves. So you two spend a few more weeks in the asylum. And it's the morning of November 3rd, quite early. It's 5 in the morning, which I'm not sure if it is before when Professor Devenald usually rises of his own accord.
Not particularly. It's early. I would be spending time in the Word, and probably not fully dressed yet.
When there is a frantic rap at your door.
At my chamber door, or at
Yes,
the front door of the house?
At your chamber door.
I mumble something under my breath about it likely being a raven, and then chuckle to myself for my own humor. And then I would call out, "Yes? Who is it? I'll be there in a moment. I apologize. I'm not fully ready for the morning."
Urgent message, sir. Telegram, urgent. I've been instructed to get it in your hands as soon as possible, sir.
I'll be there in just a moment, lad. Hold on to your pants, please. And I will go about putting on my my morning coat and tying it about my waist, and then I will open the door. Yes. How can I help you? You said something about a telegram.
Telegram, urgent. I need you to sign for it.
Of course.
I shows a piece of paper at you.
Yes. Oh, here you are. Who is it from, then?
He hands it over.
All right.
He holds his hand out.
Yes. Just a moment, lad. And I will go and grab him a couple of pennies and pass them over.
Good day to you, sir.
God bless you and keep you well, lad.
I'll be out front for a few minutes in case you need to send an urgent response. And he waits out. He scampers off.
If you'd like coffee, you're welcome to come in and have a seat.
He's not even.
All right.
Give him a good tip. He's like, I will be on this.
All right.
You get a telegram from one Dolores Tillingast.
It's from Lori.
From the Arkham, Massachusetts. Telegram office. That's what I'm looking for.
I thought she was in Boston.
She was. It is marked urgent. It was apparently sent a couple hours ago, which would mean it was sent at about 3:30 in the morning. And
I'm reading it, obviously.
Yep. I was giving the information of like, this is what it was sent, because that'd be the first information there.
Yes.
Grandfather, now in Arkham, stop. Met with Lucretia Palmer, professor at Miskatonic University, stop. Has information about Mary, stop.
What?
Also, woman Penelope says friends in Arkham, stop. Come at once. Stop.
This is not good. This is not good. Where is the telegram lad?
He is outside, by which I mean like he is out front near the stoop.
I will rush downstairs and to the front door. Lad,
yes,
excuse me. I do have a reply. What is the cost per letter?
It's a nickel per letter, sir.
Nickel. All right. Do you have something to take this down?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Pulls out a growing piece of paper, and he grabs a bit, and he has a pencil.
Are you certain that you'll be able to read it?
Yes, sir.
Very well.
I do this instead of being a newspaper boy, sir. Need to know my letters for it, and my numbers too.
Yes, it's just that the dirt on the paper is remarkably similar to the color of your pencil lead, lad.
I also have a very good memory, sir.
Very well. This is a very important telegram.
Yes, sir.
All right. Give me just a moment to gather my thoughts. Lori, that's Lori.
Yes, sir.
Space.
Yep.
Please do not, and can you make the N, the O, and the T all capitalized?
He strokes out not and does them in capitals.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Do not invest. Nope, that's going to be seek marry further.
One R in Mary?
Yes. One
Yep.
R. I'm not paying for a second one, even if she has it. I don't know, but I'm not paying for it. Lori, please do not seek Mary further. I am on the way. Send address immediately. Love, Papa. Stop.
Okay, sir. A thought, sir, if I may?
Certainly, you're the expert, aren't you, lad?
I don't know about that, sir. If you're on the way, what if you miss the thing in transit?
Is there any way for the record of whatever gets sent to me to also remain at the facility in Arkham?
Yes, sir. You should be able to ask for it there as well, sir.
Then I will do so if it has not arrived before I can gather some of my companions and then leave. Thank you. That was a very astute point, lad. Here, have another penny, and you get that
Yes, sir.
telegram off as quickly as you can.
And he counts it all up and he gives you the math. So I'm not going to do it actually because it tells you the total.
All right, I will pay him for that, plus a
Yep.
penny for his troubles.
And he sets off as soon as you dismiss him at a sprint.
Excellent. Not good. I will immediately head indoors, closing the front door behind me and locking it, and double-checking that the lock is fully secured before moving on to the telephone and attempting to reach Dr. Fox. He's probably not gone to bed yet, hopefully. Let us see.
Professor, good morning. What's going
Yes,
on?
The sun is up.
Yeah.
Raymond.
Oh God, is it?
How did you know it was me?
I've got call. The front desk said that you were calling for me.
Of course. I have received a telegram from my granddaughter, Dolores. If you recall, I sent her north to Boston some months back during a particularly
Yes.
difficult
very
week for the
unpleasant.
two of us. Do you recall a young woman named Mary, who was also involved in that unpleasantness?
I remember you saying something unfortunate happened to her. Is that the Mary we're talking about?
Yes, the one who has gone missing with no trace very suddenly.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the missive from my granddaughter Lori is telling me that, well, she's no longer in Boston. She's gone up to Arkham for some reason. And somehow she's come in contact with a woman there, 2 women, it seems, that not only are aware of such happenings occurring, but one of them specifically has told my granddaughter she has information about Mary.
Oh, my word. That's...
And, well, I'm quite concerned. Raymond, are you particularly busy? Could you take a few days?
Certainly, Professor. I can take a couple of days out of town. It'd be good for me anyway. I've had a bit of a row.
Have you been practicing your vehicular management?
I have in fact, Professor. I'm getting quite good at it now.
That's a small relief. If you wouldn't mind, are you at all in touch with Olive at this stage?
Well, I've tried going around some of her old haunts, but I haven't bumped into her. I'm a little bit concerned.
As am I. I have not been able to reach her either. Would you mind swinging by? I'll get it dressed for the morning, and I know your evening is coming to an end, but I'll have coffee here, hot and black.
Coffee, yes. Coffee is going to be something that I'm going to need. I'll be over shortly.
Thank you, my boy. Thank you. I'll see you then. God bless.
Goodbye. I'll see you soon. No, Ray will hang up on him.
So, Olive, on a morning, where would you be likely to be? Where would they be able to track you down?
Since she's not bartending so much anymore, you would probably, if you asked around, would find her at the gym, the local gym.
All right.
I imagine Raymond would think to check there within the first dozen or so places to check. I believe you do know roughly where Olive lives. I believe that was established previously when the group, I believe, swung by Olive's house at one point. Although I don't think anyone went in. If I recall correctly, you kind of swung by and were like, wait, why would we be here? Let's keep going. So,
Yeah. So Raymond
from
will...
there.
Yes. We'll drive over to pick up the professor, and from there, I imagine we'll decide to try at her home, right?
Olive's downstairs neighbor, an older man who looks like he's made of leather and spite, who nonetheless has like a wide grin. Like he's got one of those faces and he just looks old and tough and angry. But as soon as you show up, he just like his face brightens and he's like, what brings you here?
We're hoping to pay a call on Olive.
Olive's at the gym already.
Oh, the gym. Professor. Do you know which gym she goes to?
Oh yeah, just around the corner. She's at Jimmo's.
Ah, Jimmo's gym. Excellent.
He's not a clever one.
Head trauma, I take it.
I don't know what that is, but it'd be really good if you could go see Olive. And been in a state. She's not even feeding little Billy as much anymore.
Billy? Little Billy? Who's Billy?
Pigeon?
Oh, her pigeon. Had me very concerned for a moment. Yes, we'll go. Thank you for the information.
I turn and you see him shaking his head as he goes back inside. And Jimo's is just around the corner.
Well, at least we found her. Didn't take too long. Come on, hurry up. Let us go.
Yes.
And I'm going to toddle along at my extremely slow, as fast as I can, extremely slow speed.
Raymond can just barely keep up as he feels the hangover coming on.
Feel the hangover hitting you now. That means you stopped drinking hours ago.
Jimo's gym. What kind of facade is it like?
So to call it a building may be overly generous. It was once made of brick. It once had windows. But it is far from watertight. Most of the windows now have newspapers up, like instead of glass, not like up against the glass. It's early November morning, so it's already got a chill in the air. Despite that, the doors are open. It's got a big set of double doors. And you see all of... would you start the day by your workout or by cleaning? Most people aren't going to come in for a while yet.
Yeah, so she would probably be, you'd find her like maybe like at a, to call it like a punching bag would probably be generous in this gym, but it's what it replicates, and she's just going at it in the morning.
It is one of the nicer ones. It is not filled with grain. It is filled with batting instead, which means that if you've messed up your mitts, it's not going to break a knuckle. Or your wrapping, I should say. And yeah, you see Olive, who's already worked up a sweat.
Olive, there you are. Wait. Is this where you've been keeping yourself for the last several months?
As soon as she hears your voice, she like pauses mid-punch and slowly brings down her fist and like looks over her shoulder and takes a big deep sigh of just like,
Miss Olive, dear, over here.
She pulls out a flask from one of her pockets and pops it open and takes a big chug.
Ooh,
as she walks over.
Olive.
No,
yeah.
no, absolutely not.
I'm sure you've had quite enough, Raymond. Come on now.
Not anymore.
It's nearly 6 a.m.
I know.
What are you guys doing here? This isn't... I wish I could say I was happy to see you, but we all know that'd be a lie.
I wish that I could say we're here under more favorable circumstances, Miss Olive. Is there somewhere perhaps a bit more private we could have a conversation?
This is as private as it's gonna get.
There's no one there.
There's an alley out back if you...
She's the only one in the whole building? Okay.
I mean, there might be someone in an office somewhere.
All right, fair enough. There appears to be a new situation, which is connected in some way to our previous circumstance, and has set its claws into my granddaughter.
Okay, you need me to kill something else from another wherever they're from, and
I'm very hopeful I don't need you to kill, or that you don't have to kill anything or anyone. But you are the only two people in the city I know who would have the remotest understanding of what this may entail, and I am begging you for your assistance, please.
boy, I was really hoping to never see you guys again, but when you asked me like that, hey, what's one more thing, like, what possibly could go worse than giant fucking worms eating people, Well, as I'm saying this, I'm walking to like where I'd probably like have some sort of a gym bag, and next to it's like a propped up baseball bat. I throw over the bag and grab my bat. Lead the way, all yours.
You have the heart of a champion, Olive. Thank you. I know this isn't anything any of us wanted to become involved in again.
No, it's not.
As I said, Raymond will be driving his automobile, and apparently he's become more astute at that skill set. Although I didn't see very much improvement on the way over here.
We didn't encounter traffic conditions that required a high degree of skill, Professor. It's when the task becomes trying, you'll see my new heights.
You have been specifically practicing high-stress automobilesmanship.
No better way to improve than to test oneself.
Are you planning to join one of those ridiculous road rallies I've been seeing advertised about this last year?
I wasn't, but now that you mention, perhaps when we have a moment, after this whole messes up, I'll investigate that.
I apologize. I believe you said you hadn't, but perhaps you will. You turned your head or something, and I had a bit of difficulty hearing you there.
Yes, I hadn't considered the idea of entering into a road rally or anything of the sort, but now that you mention it, does seem like it could be a good time.
Right. We might not even make it to the wherever we're headed. Maybe we'll
Yes.
just all die along the way. Excellent news.
I was attempting to suggest that joining such a thing would be a ridiculously dangerous use of your time, but well, it is your life to waste.
I do rely on you to get me into dangerous situations. That's why I'm here.
Yes, quite.
Well, where to at speed, Professor?
Arkham. Actually, if we can stop by my home, I may have another some information waiting for me there. Just briefly.
Yes.
But if not, straight on to Arkham, up north of us here.
Well, Olive, do you want to stop at your place and get some traveling supplies? I know that I wasn't really prepared to go on a multi-day trip right this second.
I just hold up my flask. I got all I need right here. So, what else could we possibly need?
Very, very good. Then yeah, we'll stop at the professor's house.
So you're saying by the professor's house, nothing has arrived as of yet for you. So
Okay.
from there is the plan to try to go straight on to Arkham?
Yes.
We're going to stop at Raymond's hotel first, very briefly, pick up a couple of things.
Ooh, if we stop by his hotel, I'm definitely stocking up on booze. And follow-up question, did my money I keep tucked away in my shoe from the first season, do I still have that money?
Did you pay off your debt to the man with the boat? Because you did promise you were going to.
How
And I
much was it
I believe it was $100 of the dollars.
again? Okay, that's fine. I'll do the math. I'll figure that out. Okay.
Take a one off. So, cars do not go as fast in the 1920s as they do now.
No.
It is possible to make it from New York to Arkham in a day, but that is a long, rough day. 2 days is probably the average. 3 days is going to be just fine. So we're going to have you make a driving roll. You are not going... There's no dying in this. None of that.
I would be pushing for us to go in a day if that has any effect on the roll at all.
I would not be
What I
listening.
was-
I am hungover. I have not slept
I would-
since yesterday. I'm still a little drunk. Professor, we are getting a hotel.
Hey, I can drive. How hot is it? How hot could it be?
I'm going to have you roll drive auto to see what kind of time you're making. Let's start from there. So, you get out of the city, and
I've invented a thing called nitrous, Professor.
Raymond has, as he gets on the road, he remembers he has another flask in
Yes.
the glove compartment.
Yes, thank you, me. Yes.
And he opens it, and Olive and the professor, it's not whiskey, it smells like ginger and something like a little acrid. Like it almost smells like ginger and like an acid, and almost like the professor would remember there was a brief time where in some of New York they had a point between electric lamps and gas lamps, which were arc lights, which is basically what if we just had lightning coils for lighting? And it smells almost like those did, of like it's ozone and acid and ginger. And Raymond just starts kind of sipping at that and hunching over, and you start picking up speed. And Raymond drives like a man possessed. You are regularly clearing 60, 70 miles an hour.
I've had some aftermarket modifications done to this old rattle trap.
No, sorry. Bad conversion kilometers. I think 60,
Yes.
40 miles an hour is the speed
Even
you're
so,
clearing.
even
Yeah.
so, with
No,
shops from the
ludicrously fast.
1920s, that's not great.
That was me messing up the transition of kilometers to miles for a second. Yeah, 40. So you're going fast. He is zipping past other cars. So give me a second to do a quick bit of math.
Raymond, I know I said we need to get there today, but really?
No,
Faster,
Professor, you
faster.
wanted this. You wanted this, Professor.
I was gonna do a bit of like, oh, they're going to the hotel, oh, they're gonna go get things. Oh, I really hope, someone's coming to pick us up soon. And then you hit that right before and just took the wind out of my sails. Someone is going to pick me up soon.
I mean, that's a roll. Man.
Still on
Thomas,
24.
do you hear something? Car crash.
Right.
You
No,
reach Arkham by 6 p.m.
Oh.
So for the audience, New York to Arkham nowadays, it's about 340 miles. Nowadays, 4 hours, 5 hours. That's American time in the 1920s. You could make that number of hours in the day in the 1920s, but you were going fast. Police are seeing you go, and they're just like, no.
We couldn't even if we wanted to.
Do we want to try and catch him, Bessie?
Yeah. So you have to slow down upon reaching Arkham, in part because the roads transition from paved to gravel, and in some areas, almost like a flagstone. It's a decent-sized college town, perched on the Miskatonic River. We've transitioned over to the map there, and I'm guessing you head straight to the telegram office.
Yes, quite.
There's no telegram there for you. There is a note. Okay.
Alright.
There's a note that's left from Dolores. It says, your friends at the asylum, and she has the address. Spending evenings at Orne Library, O-R-N-E. Meet me there if you can. Otherwise, call on me at 17 West Church Street.
Do you relay this information to us?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I would, in fact, likely read it out loud.
How do we know this isn't a trap? Do we know?
You do recognize that is Dolores's, or that's Lori's writing.
If someone is attempting to hoodwink us, they have convinced my granddaughter to assist them. This is most definitely her handwriting.
I mean, how hard is it to, I don't know, stick a worm on somebody and mess up the mind of saying, hey, I'm gonna write this telegram to my lovely grandfather?
I had not considered that a worm may be involved. Thank you for putting that thought in my head, child.
No problem.
We need to get there immediately, and I will walk out the door.
Hop in, Professor. I'm on a roll.
Where are you heading to?
If she is at the Orne Library, then I would suggest that we go there first.
We don't... Didn't I say something about our friends?
No, they're fine. Keep driving.
At the asylum, where I assume they're being well cared for.
Fair enough. To the Orne Library, it is.
I'm perfectly comfortable with Cassine moving away from us for a while, though.
I mean, they can't get out.
Well, I mean, perhaps a little one flew over the cuckoo's nest. I don't know.
If anyone could
All right,
break out of
Certain,
an
as
asylum.
soon as Professor Devenant hears where we are, he will be rushing to us.
Yeah. Obviously, Penelope will find the professor. The professor will help us.
Like
Yeah, they- I mean,
immediately,
they-
right? I mean, no problem.
They left me in a
Weeks
burning
go
building, so
by.
they feel really bad about my situation. They would want to come and make sure that I'm okay after they left me to certain death.
Well, now
You
all
know,
You're such good
here's the
friends with
thing.
Olive.
Here's the
I-
thing.
I
they've
like to think
said-
so.
All they've said is our friends. I don't think they remember our names.
Yeah,
Who
The
are
telegram
those guys?
doesn't make it clear it's you.
Yeah.
it could be any number of people, I guess.
I have friends. But
Hey,
they live in
didn't
New
we leave-
York.
Tommy in the car. What do you think ever happened to him? I was in the hospital for a couple months, so I never really followed up with any of you guys.
Yes, we left him in the back seat of your automobile, Raymond, but I don't recall him being there when we departed.
Yes, I don't... He's not there now.
Great. Progress.
Well, that's because I'm sitting here now.
Yes.
And it's been something like 3 months.
Yes, I imagine
It
he would
is-
probably get out to stretch his legs or something.
I do have to ask a question, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Are we even aware that these two gentlemen are alive?
No.
Last time
Okay.
I saw
All right.
Mr. Horace Young, he was getting sucked into another dimension,
Yes.
and
With
Tommy
the
was in the
knife in
backseat of the
his
car.
chest.
Precisely.
Yeah, I thought he was a god. He
Precisely.
left me to die. Okay, he was like, "Oh, hole into a void, into another world, all of dying. You know what? Fuck that girl," and he left. So
I'm completely
I don't know
unaware
how
of
to
what
then.
friends I might have that would be in an asylum in Arkham, Massachusetts.
I have a lot of friends who could be there, but I don't think they would contact you. So
But in Massachusetts.
that's true.
So the Orne Library is a 3-story newer construction. Great big windows, all fresh stone. Professor, you would have heard about this because you're also a professor in the academic
Yes.
circles.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
This has been going through extensive renovations. It's got, frankly, a large collection. It's got over 400,000 books. Miskatonic University is not quite the Ivy League, but is one of the collection of universities in New England that are a close contender. It's a good institution. This building's brand new after the old one burned down, and
It's not Columbia. Let's be honest. Come on now.
no, it's not. It's not. But you would have had to, especially with some of your recent research, probably had to get Columbia to borrow some books from Orn for you.
Fair. All right.
They do have fairly large collections of cryptography and the occult and old history, and they also have a bunch of primary sources on the Salem witch trials. So, nice old building, gargantuan windows. You all bustle in, I suppose, at the heels of the professor, who's in a bit of a state.
Dolores!
Professor, you know better. It's a library.
You hear as this great big dog
Dolores.
gets up as you bursting in and yelling. It's not thrilled with you. And you hear Napoleon sit. I'm sorry, sir. What can I help you with?
My apologies. I am looking for my granddaughter, who I am afraid may be in some form of trouble. Dolores Tillinghast. Would you happen to know if she is here? I was told to meet her at the library.
Tillinghast. I'm not certain. She could be part of. Not much happens here in the evening. There should be a meeting there. There is one of the professors has a bit of a demonstration experiment up on the third floor. That'd be where I'd first suggest you go. If she said to meet you here, it's a bit of a regular occurrence.
Will there be refreshments?
No.
Up there?
Yes, the third story.
And they're meeting now?
Well, I would. The young man glances at his watch and he goes, "They'd be probably still setting up still."
Excellent, thank you. And I will toddle quickly up the stairs.
Okay. You make your way up to the third floor. There is it's a library, but you do see there is a room that has some windows kind of out to the thing. It looks like a bit of a study room or something. You see Lori with a young woman you don't recognize. She looks like she's in her 30s. Dirty blonde hair, pulled up in a bun, and she's in very, you immediately get the sense of professorial garb. She has the tweed jacket over a blouse and her skirt, and they are fiddling with it looks like a telescope that they have done things to. There's extra lenses. It looks like they have different things to kind of slide lenses into place on either end. There's a chalkboard that there is a bunch of mathematical equations on, which the professor could actually
I
roll
recognize them?
close on because they are similar but not the same.
No.
So yeah, it's not dissimilar, but your gut would be that they are not. If what you were looking at before was looking at drawing things towards it and at folding or warping reality, this looks more like they are trying to just look, right? They're just trying to see and not bring anything, not change anything else.
But it does ring of
Yes. There are similar
Powers beyond our understanding, of course. All right.
Yes.
And it's written on a chalkboard, you said?
Yep.
All right. Seeing Lori, I would immediately cry out, Lori, darling child, there you are! And I would rush over to her and embrace her. I was able to get here as quickly as possible. Is everything all right?
The dog starts barking again from downstairs at your yell,
Yep.
But seems not much more interested in doing anything than they're just like, hey! Olive and Dr. Fox, have you joined him?
Yeah.
We'll follow up.
And
Yeah.
just to clarify, this is like they're in a lecture right now that we're interrupting.
No, not a lecture. It's just
Okay.
two of them, and seem kind of fiddling. They would be doing a demonstration, which is a lot more common then than now because there's a lot more experiments that you can just kind of do of like, look, we're gonna point out, like we're gonna light a thing on fire, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna use this new device, this telephone, and demonstrate what it does because that's more of like the level of education needs to happen a lot of the time.
Okay.
For people.
During
So
the disruption, just at some point, I would like to make my way to the chalkboard just to pretend like I'm observing it, but I'm not.
cool. Yeah, Lori goes, Papa, and she gives you a big hug, and she goes, I'm sorry, I don't remember if we met or not. I've been, and you can all see she's got just like rings under her eyes, like she's been having a lot of late nights.
She looks almost as rough as Raymond does at this point.
Isn't Raymond still riding his cocaine suffused beverage?
11 hours in, I hope. Raymond will hold his hand out. Dr. Raymond Fox, I was a student and now sometimes associate of your father's.
Excellent. Pleasure to meet you. This is. Pardon?
I was told that there would be refreshments.
And the other woman goes, no, not anywhere near here. Thank you. I'm not quite so much as some of those social reformers, but I have to insist that the stuff's much too delicate. And Lori goes, this is Professor Palmer. She's a professor of mathematics here. She has fascinating ideas. And Professor Palmer looks over at Olive and goes, and who's this?
Just a curious fella. Carry on with your conversation.
My apologies. I was so overwrought at having found my Lori. Dr. Raymond Fox, he would not use the honorific himself, but he deserves it. He's fully deserving of it. This is my granddaughter, Dolores Tillinghast, up and coming Broadway star, and our companion, Olive Raymond?
Olive.
I don't remember her last name.
I've never asked, and she's never offered.
Olive.
Professor, you can give me a quick psychology roll.
All right.
When you start to introduce Lori to
Yes.
Professor Palmer, they kind of give each other a look like, what? And then they share another look when you mention she's an up-and-coming Broadway star, that Palmer looks surprised and confused, and Lori looks embarrassed. And Palmer goes, Lori here's been, she's been helping me for the last few weeks. She's been auditing one of my classes since the start of the semester.
Has she? What class is it that she is auditing?
Introduction to astronomy.
Hence the telescope.
Of sorts. This is a different project of mine. And she tries to step around you to get the door and pull it closed.
I would allow her to do so.
Yeah.
Um,
She told me a bit of what happened to Ms. Mary.
Did she?
To tell you about the worms?
Lori is just looking out the window, not making eye contact with anyone.
She did.
Ah.
Well, we were talking about a similar matter in kind of the question and answer period after one of my lectures.
Your astrology lecture.
Astronomy.
My apologies. Your astronomy lecture.
Yes. We've been doing a lot of work on the pathways of the planets and the stars, the mathematics required with them.
I see. This is a advanced course, is it?
Well, no, it was an introductory course, but my area of study is more advanced mathematics.
I see.
So the questions sometimes end up going down various avenues.
Yes.
What are all these bits and pieces that you've put on this telescope here?
Oh, yes, these are different lenses that we're working on ways that the refraction of light can actually go through and under things. I'm not sure if you've heard about some of the studies going out of the medical examiner's office in New York, for example. They're doing things where you can burn certain chemicals and then give off certain different flames, different aspects to it. And part of our theory is that you may be able to see such things and see through or around the aspects of our reality. And we've been working on this. I've had some success thus far, and we've been working on calibrating it. It unfortunately it's happening at night. The light of the sun interferes too much.
I'm gonna step up to the professor and like hold out a hand and be like, sorry, I was a little bit rude and didn't properly introduce myself. The name's Olive. Kind of took care of the problem of the last person who wanted to bring horrors into the world and were messing with things maybe they shouldn't mess with. Are you gonna be a problem going forward?
So she looks at your hand and she just kind of goes red. And she looks up at you and she looks down and she looks up and she's kind of like,
Angry red or embarrassed?
Or
you don't know. You suspect it may be a combination of many feelings at once.
Fair.
And she kind of looks up and she goes, what? Nothing needs to come here. What?
what I believe my friend is trying to say is we've had some experience with people who are interested in not just looking into, well, or beyond that which is, and they had an interest in bringing that which is not into that which is, and negative results from. And she's naturally reticent to let you carry on. But if you're only looking, I'm sure Olive, she's only looking. It should be fine, right?
Hey, we started off with only just one little look, right? And then birds started disappearing, and then people started disappearing. And you seem like a kind lady and all, but once you start looking, things start looking back. So maybe be a little bit careful.
Have you noticed anything strange with birds of late?
At the mention of that, Olive like visibly like
I'm sorry, what happened with birds?
They were watching us, and then they disappeared.
They seemed to be somehow aware of the sorts of things that you're trying to perceive when they became, well, when they were closer to reality than they normally are.
Something about magnets. I don't quite there magnets in this thing?
There's no magnets, no.
Oh, then I'm sure we're fine.
You said that they looked at you and saw something?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We were looking at the sky
She
for
takes a step
birds.
back away from Olive, and she kind of is like trying to make sure that she is between. She seems to be like both terrified and intrigued by Olive, especially, and kind of intrigued by a lot of you, but also is like, I'm gonna put my body between them and my device. She's like,
As she should.
can I, with your permission, I'd like to try something.
I'm going to put myself between her device and Lori.
No. If
What exactly did you intend?
If the birds were looking at you, perhaps I could turn. I could use my device to look at you and see if there's been some other flickers here. We've seen certain things, it's hard to describe what they're like. They're kind of like shifting colors, but they've been far away, and we've been trying to determine specifically what they are, and being able to compare with one of you if you still have whatever the birds saw. We would know if it's the same or not, at least.
You need a test subject. Certainly, I've lived a full life. I'll volunteer. And Raymond will walk around to the far side of the telescope and just kind of hold his arms out.
Okay, she just kind of goes over to it and she kind of like looks through, and then she like looks through and like adjusting the lenses.
This is painless.
And she goes, Lori, your hypothesis was right. They have the same green mauve flicker to them. Would you do you know anyone else who had this happen to them? Lori said you had friends or something, but we've seen a couple of similar flickers like this in the distance.
You're seeing a flicker around Raymond.
Well, around, behind, and kind of would be the better way of describing it. Less of an aura.
I'm gonna step over to where she's looking at the telescope, kind of with like my hands up of like, I'm not gonna break it. May I take a look? See.
Don't adjust any of the lenses. It'll you kind of adjust it in. But if you take a look through.
Okay.
That's gonna be a sanity roll.
I knew it was coming.
I mean, it's a tiny one. You lose 1 sanity.
Okay.
As you can see Raymond, but then you at the same time see his musculature and his bones, and then like the rest of his musculature and the back of his head, and then you see like a green mauve flickering color behind him that kind of seems to stretch out infinitely into like a forever far away point that looks like it is like a pinhole that is at once both infinitely far away, and you feel like if you like reached out, you'd be able to grab it.
Did it look? I don't remember if I saw what Horace saw when he disappeared. Would I have seen what he disappeared into?
Yes, you did see part of that. Yeah, the whole part of it, like that pinprick, kind of reminds you.
Do you see it as well, Olive?
Kind of take a step back and pocket my flask, take another big swig. I see it all right.
It does take some getting used to. Yes, I'm sorry. It's more designed for things farther away. I'm sorry. I should have warned you.
Professor, would you mind if I took a look as well?
be my guest.
Professor, while they're looking, have you attempted in any way to capture the results of this with photographic equipment? I'd like to see the results of me also, is why I asked.
We couldn't get it to we couldn't get it developed properly with a conventional camera. We did have someone working on a device for us, but nothing's been able to quite capture it.
If you want me to stand in front of it, Raymond, I can just stand in front of it, right?
Hold.
Professor
Could you
get
both?
of you.
Could you both stand there? Olive, could you move over next to Dr. Fox?
Come on.
Yeah. If we summon something, though, this is on you. I'll go stand next to Raymond.
Gee.
Interesting. Do they both have the aura, etc.?
Sort of. I will need you to make your sanity check.
Oh, of
for looking
course,
through it.
Of course.
But there is a slight difference when they get together are you looking through as they approach?
I'm looking at Mr. Fox and then asking Olive to join him.
So you see Raymond Fox the same way, and then as Olive approaches, you see the same thing from Olive, but they both but the pin pricks and then the pulled back light towards it. That's also gonna be just one. They both start to wobble. And they then, as they get closer and closer, they kind of wobble, and then they collapse into each other until there's a single pinprick between them. And they both kind of have it go back.
Astounding.
Professor, may I? What's happened?
Yes, quick, here. There's another experiment I'd like to have us do while they're there, but here, have a quick look.
And she looks through, and then she goes,
Do you see how they've connected?
What? Do you feel anything?
The usual connection between two friends?
It's
Friends that don't share their booze?
Fine, I'll hand over my flask.
Thank you.
I believe the
Don't call me
professor
friend
said
again.
that she would prefer that you not drink in the vicinity of her
Hey.
very specialized equipment.
It's a science, math, the thingy, whatever. Maybe drinking alcohol or some booze will make another pinhole in the universe. Quick,
Yeah,
drink.
watch what happens when I take a slug.
Did anything change?
Nope. All that changed is Professor Palmer has just become increasingly
Okay, keep watching, Professor. I'm going to go and stand next to them as well. Watch what happens.
Please close the flask.
Yes. Close it up, give it back to Olive.
And she goes, that it's done it again. The three of you've collapsed into one. There's a wobble as well and she turns it over your shoulders, and she goes, there's you've done something to the lights out there. We have seen them. There's been a couple out and about the city that they're kind of wobbling again. It's almost like the three of you together have drawn more. I don't know. It's weight on a sheet. When it's pulled, it pulls down.
I immediately jump away from Raymond and the professor.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough science for today. Wouldn't you fellas agree?
No,
Hey.
that was my next test. What happened when she left?
Oh, it separated again. And then she kind of again, she looks over the windows. She goes, the other lights aren't wobbling anymore.
So what I'm hearing is if we don't stick together, we never contact each other, we pretend like the others just don't exist, then the universe is fine and everything is fine.
I don't know if that hypothesis has any backing.
We can test it. What were the friends that you were talking about that we needed to go There was
Yes, what
some
friends of
in
ours?
asylum. Yeah, we don't have any
Uh,
friends.
Friends
you
of
not-
ours at the asylum. Yes. Lori, what were you discussing? What did you mean there?
Well, a woman named Penelope Young said that her brother, one Horace Young, and a Brit named Cole were.
What?
You not go see them and check?
Horace is alive?
Wow.
Tommy is in the asylum?
Wow.
We've got to go. We've got to
Did
go
you
get
not
them.
go there first?
No, Professor
No,
was all
I-
hot to trot.
I was worried for you, my dear. I'm
Wait.
going to take care of family before some strangers that I'm not even aware of who they might be.
That's not strangers. That's our friends.
But we didn't know that it was them. You agreed with me.
We didn't know it was them, but we've got to go.
Olive?
Well, I agree now.
Yes.
You're going to say something?
I was just gonna say, is it really a good idea for all of us to be together?
Well, we were able to spend the last 10 hours in my car with no ill effects.
We need to be certain that Tommy, Cole, and Horace Young are well, and if they're in asylum, then that does not bode well. But
No,
at least
You're
they're
right.
alive, and of course we should check on them.
You would want us
You're
to come
right, you're
spring
right.
you.
yeah, you're right. You would probably be like my 7th phone call or telegram if I needed to get out. So we should definitely go check on them and make sure they're okay.
think that's-
We're horrible people. We gotta bring some good in the world after everything we've been through and everything we've done. Let's go save those.
I think with that, that's
Guys.
a great intermission spot. We can grab some water and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Before we go to break, I'm gonna go a bit Brechtian for a second, and Tommy would like to spend his Twitch channel points
What?
to give Horace some extra sanity for the
Yes.
and he's gonna take him for a little walk. We're gonna be like, yeah, the professor's coming to get us. It's gonna be all right, and we can talk about our growth here with the therapy. And we really should talk about our problems more. We should open up more.
Sure.
Yeah, you have this nice moment. You're off towards the edge. You hear the rumbling of one of the trains coming into town. Because that spot of where they are on Roll20 was supposed to be the asylum. That's where I thought they were going. So that's where you two have been. That's where we've had the little thing is them at the asylum, just like they're gonna come and get us.
Well, the
One
main
of these
characters,
days.
right? The main
Yeah.
characters are there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
just a side story.
Of
Right,
course,
right,
of course.
We'll see you all in about 5 minutes.
We're good.
Sounds like we're back. Hey again, Wandering Souls. Awesome to be back. Quick little bit before we jump back into it and try up the asylum. If you're liking what you're seeing, it'd be awesome to get those subscribe bit. It is September, so it'd be really awesome if you do that. Get
Yeah,
some people
subs
some
cost
subs,
less.
Gift people subs. Get subs for yourself. Enjoy them. Rub them on your face. That's what you do with subs, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I
got
thought
it.
you ate them.
absolutely.
Subscription.
They were edible.
I thought, nope, can't say that on the stream.
I have
We
no
have
idea what you could possibly be thinking.
the rest of the group showing up at the asylum. It's about 6:45 by the time you get there. Tommy and Horace are in the dining hall. It is Friday, so it is fish. November, so it'd be a fish chowder with some heavy rye bread. They don't really believe in vegetarianism fully, especially at an institution in the era. Sorry to say. But you can make do on bread. When, Devinald and Dr. Ryan Fox and all show up.
Skirt.
Is it not possible to come to a stop slightly less suddenly? Right.
Where's the fun in that?
He's got a point.
His
All
target
right.
at this point are just most of a circle and then a massive flat spot. Every drive
Well.
is
Once we get up to
Apparently,
speed, it's fine.
they're waiting for us, so I suppose we
Yes.
should.
Let's get
Yep.
in there.
Let's go save the
Uh,
day.
Yeah, so you go in. There's a little entryway. A woman looks up. She says, hello, can I help you?
Yes, I'm here to collect 2 companions of mine that I believe are waiting for me, Thomas Cole and Horace Young.
Oh,
I am Professor Herbert Francis Devenold,
oh,
and I have been requested to come and take them into my care.
yes. That's wonderful.
Yes.
She leans over and she ruffles through some papers for it, and she pulls out a couple of forms. And she goes, "Yeah, if you just sign these, I can release them into your care."
I would carefully read the forms before signing them.
It's not that you are taking complete liability for anything they do, but you're kind of assuming some obligations in terms of like if they start to act violent, or like it's behooved upon you if they act violent or dangerous to themselves or others, otherwise unpredictable, to call someone for the next kind of few months to make sure that they are returning to society in a healthy way. It's not unlimited liability. It's just kind of like you're assuring that you're going to keep an eye on them. And the biggest concern for you would probably be you are making sure they don't become wards of the state.
Yes, everything seems to be in order here. There you are, the old John Hancock for you.
Of course, they're just in the dining hall. I'll just walk you in.
Thank you. Dr. Raymond Fox is here to assist, as well as our companion and helper, Olive.
I am a doctor.
Oh, excellent. They haven't been violent in months, though. So, I mean, hopefully you won't be needed. Ms.
Hopefully.
Yes, excellent. She pulls out a key ring. She unlocks big set of double doors. Ushers you all
Before
in.
we go
Yeah.
in, can I psychology this one? I want to make sure this isn't an ambush. Olive's paranoid. I want to make sure
Yeah.
this isn't some elaborate scheme to get us locked in here. Okay.
Just a nice little old lady. She looks like Olive. You're like, this lady's probably just a volunteer. She's probably not getting paid for this. A nice little old lady who's basically candy striping.
Okay.
Locks the door, turns around, unlocks the other one, between the other 2 doors. She walks down the hallway and brings you to the dining hall. There's about 36 patients here. Tommy and Horace, would you be sitting together?
Yeah.
Probably.
Um,
What books did he have with him?
You were able to get a couple of books sent over from the Orne Library, actually. Nothing the doctors thought would be too... They wouldn't use the phrase triggering, but I'm drawing a blank what the proper phrase would be for the era. But nothing that would have you too stimulated, as it were. And it was nothing they thought would put you in. But you were able to get a few different books on different worlds and stuff. A lot of it ended up being folklore. And some other bits and bobs. So you've picked up a bunch on like Celtic folklore and how like the mist would hide other places, or Norse folklore of like, yeah, sometimes you could just sail to a different world and that sort of things.
So yeah, he'd have several of those, like either open or just piled on the table,
Okay. Yeah.
basically at every meal.
Tommy just knows that Horace has had a pretty tough time when he turned up, so makes an effort to like sit with Horace, try and get a bit of conversation out of him every day. Like
Excellent.
He's sitting like in front again, like on the opposite side of Horace with these books in front of him, just kind of poking at this chowder.
Now, just quickly, how long has it been since we came to at the end of last week?
What, 3.5 months?
Since we came to?
No,
I thought it was
sorry.
November then.
Yeah, you'd both been in treatment at that time for a while, though.
Okay, so we kind of have
Yeah, I remember-
remembered.
Yeah.
That.
I remember
Gotcha.
coming to, like, and they were like, "Oh, you're doing it again."
Yeah.
So I'd been there for a
Gotcha,
bit.
gotcha. Yeah, I know we'd been there. It's just so we now have recollection.
Yeah.
of what's happened before. Gotcha. I mean, Horace doesn't, but
Wait, Horace has
some of it.
some of that time.
Gotcha. Would he have been able to secure like a personal notebook?
Yep.
Okay.
They're only letting you use pencils, though, no pens.
Right, right. He'd probably want to have sketched down, probably since the day that he snapped to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of marking down everything he could from the walls.
Okay.
And then like when he would, and I don't know if he could have like requested a cloth and some water to like, as
Oh no,
he
they cleaned
records
your
it-
room a few times.
Okay, so they did. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd mark down whatever
Mhm.
was legible in that.
Horace, this is what this is what we were talking about. Maybe just forget about the writing on the wall for a minute. Like, let's maybe just have a healthy discussion. Let's open up, like the doctor was saying. Let's try and think about our feelings. When Penelope came last week, how did that make you feel?
I don't see the worth in that. I clearly thought it was important at the time. And I was in the grips of something far beyond me. There's a point of understanding. Eventually. I just have to reconstruct what my mind may have been at that time.
But we can do all that after we convince these nice people that we aren't going to hurt anyone, and we're normal, and we're fine, and we're not worried about the breaking of the universe, and we're just trying to go about our day. That's just how we need to act for a little bit.
Yes, of course.
And then you hear a bit of a hear the doors swing open, and the three of your former compatriots head in.
Yeah, there they are.
Wow, they're actually alive.
Oh my word, they are! Horace, Tommy, you survived!
We came as soon as we heard you were here.
Mr. Young, Mr. Cole, I'm
Probably
pleasantly shocked to see you.
Well, Thomas, looks as though we'll be here for a while longer. I've begun seeing echoes of the past.
Hey, is that any way to talk about your friends?
friends?
Should have to record this. Yes, indeed, it
You-
is them. How did you know?
Horace, maybe this isn't the place to talk. Should we get out of here? I got a lot of questions. Like, why did you leave me to die?
I actually have that same question. Let's talk about that right now.
Do we want
You
to
wanna
talk
do
about
it
it in the
here?
car? We're
Yes,
free to
so-
go.
do it
or
right
perhaps I
away.
believe
I've
Dr.
got
Fox may
feelings.
have a hotel suite for us to retire to.
Yes, let me
Why
just go
didn't you?
confirm that real quick. And Raymond's gonna leave to go find a phone.
No. We're not leaving
Zip.
right now.
Mr. Cole, Mr. Young, you have been placed into my care, and I would like to take you out of this place as quickly as possible so that we can all have a nice conversation.
Yeah, I only
Of,
get a couple of these, but I'd like to remind you what happened the last time I was under your care.
Yes, you
Yeah,
fell
Professor.
asleep in the back of Dr. Fox's automobile and must have wandered off, as far as I'm aware.
I did admittedly drink a lot of that night juice, and that was on me. So I'm trying to learn to take responsibility for my own actions. But I was told by Horace you left me in the building and set on fire.
Wow, Professor, that was a real shady move on your part.
That's
I believe you were involved.
completely inaccurate.
I was busy saving the world, Tommy, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Entirely inaccurate.
Perhaps not by the other patients? You don't want to agitate
Yes.
anyone, please?
Oh,
Agreed.
I'm sorry. I didn't actually see you
Agreed.
there.
Yes. Can we depart, gentlemen, or would you prefer to stay here?
Yes, Mr. Cole, Mr. Young, Mr. Devenald here, Professor Devenald
Thank you.
has signed the paperwork. You've been discharged.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
All right, get me out of here.
Come on then, gentlemen.
Well,
Dr. Fox, are you just booking a hotel?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
5 suites. Preferably all on the same floor, sequential. But I'll take what I can get.
Shared doors, you know, all that.
Yeah.
How much money does Raymond have?
Yes.
Raymond has all the money.
I could put us up in a hotel for a couple of nights running. It's fine. It's the least I could do for abandoning you in the middle of a house fire.
We didn't do that. We
it
didn't
really
do that.
is.
That did not occur. Whatever Mr. Young recalls, his memory is become fogged by his experiences.
Yeah, you're able to secure bookings at the Royal Hotel.
Excellent.
It is over on. Where am I looking? Over on East Main, on the South Bank. There we go. Yeah, so you're not able to get 5 rooms all on the same floor, mainly because there are only 4 rooms to a floor. It is November, so it isn't exactly tourist season or a lot of students or any conferences in town, so you kind of have your pick otherwise.
Sure.
But if you want to split that you're across both floors, or just nope, we're having only 4 things on one floor people will do, that's up to y'all.
I'll reserve 5. We can talk about it.
Okay.
I see the others leaving the cafeteria just as I'm hanging up. Yes, I've secured us rooms for a couple of nights. Shall we?
Excellent, Raymond. Excellent. Yes, yes. All right, let's all pile into Raymond's automobile again. Just
True.
like old times.
Just like the bad old days, eh, folks? And Raymond will start to drive, and drive for a couple of minutes and be like, have any of you ever been to Boston before? Or wherever we are. Where are we?
Arkham.
Arkham, yes. Does anybody know where the South Bank is?
I'd imagine you go to the river and head south.
South of the North Bank.
Ah, yes. Does anybody know where the North Bank is?
North of the South Bank.
Damn it.
I mean, you're able to turn literally like right from the asylum is the river.
Ah, perfect. Yes. And we'll find our way to the Royal Hotel eventually.
Olive, I want to cash in my drink. I'm pretty sure you owe me a drink.
I still don't understand why you're mad at me. Like I said, I was busy being left behind by Horus after saving everybody, the whole entire universe from some crazy madman. So if anything, you owe me a drink. But I will indulge because you are, maybe not a companion, and I'll hand over my flask.
Tommy will finish the flask.
Right?
Whoa.
Just kind of white lips, and then just go. So me and Horace went to the future.
Oh my! This is why I
What?
didn't want
What?
to talk
I'm
to you guys
sorry.
ever again.
I'm
was
not sure
happy
I
in
understand
my
what
own
Do I
little
age
life,
well?
pretending you guys didn't even exist.
I'm not. I don't know. Okay, maybe the doctors are right and none of this happened. But we saw a future where Edmund succeeded and the rivers were flooded, New York was flooded, and we went to Edmund's place and there were these monsters and they were trying to get us, and we did some ritual with the sequence under Edmund's mat in his apartment.
Yes.
And then we woke up in the hospital.
So, again, I saved the world. So
It was bad. That what you're saying, New York being flooded is bad, right?
But there were newspapers. It was 2025. And Raymond, do you remember when you got that telegram?
Yes, I do. Oh, from sometime in the future, but not as far as that, I don't think.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Something must be connected, right?
That does lend credence to the idea.
Whatever it is that you experienced, I'm quite confident it wasn't our future. Perhaps it was some potential future, but I'm quite sure that family is gone permanently. They have passed.
we made sure of that. Am I right? Hold out a fist bump for anyone too.
Bump.
Thank you.
Olive, check the glove compartment. I've been holding out on you. And if she opens it, there's another flask in there.
Another flask.
Wait, is
Now
this
we're
the cocaine
talking.
flask
No,
or is
no,
this
no.
alcohol?
I only keep one of those. I can't. It's hard on the heart, you see.
Yes, I have heard such
And
things.
most
Yes.
of the other organs.
I reached down the back of the car seat for the night juice.
Nope, it's well gone.
Can I roll?
I will have Tommy and Horace roll some plot hiddens, though.
Some what? Sorry.
Some spot hiddens.
Oh, rooting around in my car?
I heard plot hidden, which sounds much more nefarious.
I mean, not wrong. Is not spot hidden more aptly called plot hidden? Cool.
Nope.
So yeah, you're able to make it after it is explained to Dr. Raymond Fox that you have to go over the bridge.
Oh!
It's not a big town.
Okay. I get it. Yes.
You're able to make your way over to East Main Street and park and make your way to the hotel. It's an shabby old building that is more of the older style of hotel, in that there's not a restaurant here. You're not eating here. It is a lobby and a laundry and rooms.
It's like a tenement building.
A step above, but not a ton above.
Okay.
I
I take it there was
The
no
room-
valet.
No. The rooms do each have their own basic bathroom, but showers are a shared affair.
Well, I got us 5 rooms. There's only 4 to a floor. I'll take the solo on the room the floor above if nobody wants to share, but there is some virtue, I think, in sticking together.
I would agree that if we can, we should all stay close.
Maybe not too close.
Well, of course. I apologize, Miss Olive. I would never presume that any one of us would share a room with you.
No, I don't care about that. I'm talking about the weird aura thing when we all get together. It makes a bigger pinpoint. I don't know, whatever that means. I don't care about any of that. I'm
Well,
talking
I imagine
about...
that whatever was happening then has been happening the entire time we've all been riding together in this car.
Oh, cool.
Wait, what us all being together thing?
We've got a delightful telescope for you to look at tomorrow morning.
There have been developments, gentlemen. We may not be quite out of the woods yet.
Well, that's settled then. Professor, I'll room with you.
You're welcome to it. I apologize in advance for my snoring.
Oh, I sleep the sleep of the dead.
Good. You'll need it. Perhaps, Olive, would you like to take the room next to ours? And Tommy and Horace, are you comfortable sharing a room, or
You don't have to.
would you?
I was just gonna rock, paper, scissors, Olive for the room, the floor below.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, go on 3.
Okay,
No, we go
let's
the
do
beat
it.
after 3.
This is
Okay.
played with a delay.
There you go. Ready? One,
Yeah.
2, 3. The beat.
Ah.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Come on, Horace. We got a lot to talk about.
Wait, so the 5 of us are sharing 3 rooms?
Wait, what?
And one of them is on the separate floor.
Listen,
Have-
the math was never my thing, okay?
We can get 5 rooms.
Okay.
4 of them can be on one floor. The
Okay.
5th will be on another floor.
Okay.
If 2 people share
Okay.
1 room,
Okay.
5 people in 4 rooms.
Wow,
we
I
can
really
all be on
missed
the
you
same
guys.
floor.
And I was just rock, paper, scissoring to be the room on the other floor because I didn't want to share, and that.
However,
Didn't
there
want to
is
share
now-
a floor with us.
Wow.
Tommy, I assure you, we did not leave you to die in that mansion.
At least not I.
I was preparing to go back in. Flames
We
kept-
both were, and
If
then
anybody
the
here
entire
abandoned-
building exploded.
Yeah, which was crazy. I wonder how that happened. But if anybody here left anybody behind, Horace left me behind. When you went to the future, I suppose.
Although that does raise a good question.
What kind of question?
How did the building explode?
I don't know, maybe some sort of magic. I don't know how these things work.
Okay.
I never did
Only-
get quite a clear understanding of what it was that you and Mr. Young experienced that night after departing from the library.
Can we do this over dinner? I haven't eaten in 36 hours. And I've consumed nothing but room temperature gin and some hopped up go juice from my glove compartment. I'm dying. I need to eat some food.
Can I get some of that go juice?
I need to restock.
So do we all just pile into a room and talk about our feelings and eat and
There's no
drink
food
and-
there. I was expecting more from a
Oh, no.
hotel called the Royal Hotel. There's no restaurant.
Oh no.
It is the nicest hotel in town.
That's what I asked for when I talked to the operator.
Yep.
Okay, maybe we just
Perhaps the gentleman at the front desk would know of a place nearby where we can find sustenance.
Anything but chowder.
Oh, I was just about to say that I could really go for a bowl of good white chowder.
You missed your chance, Professor. We'll drop maybe some of our stuff off, maybe none of our stuff. Maybe we're just keeping it all with us just in case. And
What?
go
You
to-
guys have stuff? That's great.
Yeah, I assume my stuff is in smithereens in New York.
Yeah, are you guys like walking around in hospital gowns?
No, they had clothing,
Okay.
and they
Okay.
got their stuff back. What stuff they had?
So
What's
Whether
Forrest
they
is
were
wearing
found
a
you
tattered
have?
suit jacket.
No, he doesn't have the suit jacket.
Yeah, that's
If you were
gone.
Paying attention, he doesn't have that.
Yeah, we'll go down to the concierge and hello. Where can we get some food in this town? It's It's only 7:15. Places are still open, right?
Yes, it's not Podunk.
It's the off season. I don't know.
It's Sue's is right next door.
Brilliant. Thank you. And and Raymond will look at Horace and Tommy. And is there a haberdashery in town?
Yeah.
It's not Podunk.
No, it's good little university town. It's not Dunwich or anything.
I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, just down Main Street.
Just down Main. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
This guy's suspicious.
He's already not paying attention to you, and he's reading a book.
Hey,
sure
I'm
you
just
don't
gonna.
Are you
For
sure
the
you don't need
British
to ask?
among us, what's a badashery?
A haberdashery?
A haberdashery.
It's a men's
The
clothing
men's
store.
tailor. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought they focused on hats. Isn't it a hat shop?
No, a haberdashery contains all sorts of fashionables.
Oh, well, that's changed quite a bit since I was your age then.
Oh, you can get the latest suspenders. It's a scream, Professor.
I
you
have
sure
been
you don't-
considering a new bow tie.
Are we really talking about shopping when we should be talking about?
Yes,
Yes,
food. We were
can give
off
you a
to get a
list.
bite
Yes.
to eat.
Sue's next
thank
door
you.
comes highly recommended.
Are you sure you don't need to ask where Main Street is?
Listen, we'll find it.
It intersects with Central.
It's on the south side of the river, I understand.
Aren't we on the south side of the river?
I
Are
mean,
we?
you walk outside, and you are literally on East Street. If you look to your right, the hotel's at the corner of Garrison and Main, and one side of Garrison is East Main, and one side is West Main.
Well, Massachusetts is conveniently located.
Well, all right. So, Sue's was it?
Yes, Sue's.
A bowl of
Yeah.
chai.
Yeah, right next door, there is and when I say saloon, it's not like a Western style saloon. In America, what Brits would call a pub was called a saloon up until Prohibition. So think there's a long, nice wooden bar, but they serve food. It is a place that you can spend some time. It is a social space. Small town here, it is not as blatantly violating Prohibition. You do, however, quickly note that, like, there's no hard liquor, but no one's really asking any questions about beer. And you're able to get in. There's the smell of a few different stews on. There's bread and cheese, and pretty quick you can tell that, like, it's good, warm, filling food to help get you through the winter. You're able to get a table in the corner with some a little bit of privacy, and settled in for your orders and the like.
What's the vibe of the clientele as we enter? Is it busy? Are they like kind of loafing, or are they?
Yeah,
eating quickly?
I mean, it's a decent number of pretty obviously professors and university staff, and like very middle class, quiet. It is like a Friday night. It is not the kind of place that's going to be playing that jazz music is going to be playing later. Very much more of a quiet, cozy restaurant vibe.
Where everybody knows your name.
And even your name.
Well, Raymond will tuck into a serving or two of, several stews.
Yeah.
Oh, and beer.
Yeah, Olive will follow suit. Just stew and beer.
There will be an exasperated minute where Tommy desperately tries to explain what fish and chips are to this little person, but
Oh,
he
you
will
can get
also
fish and
give up.
chips.
Sorry?
You'd be able to get fish and chips.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
That,
we're in
that
New
would
England,
be-
bud.
that
It's
would
just
save
that
Tommy
the
right
chips
now.
would be crispy, not soggy.
Yes.
There's no malt vinegar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll have some fish and chips.
Yeah.
And just cry a little bit as he eats them.
Well, it helps.
not-
That helps salt them. Right. That's how you
Yeah.
do that.
There's
You wet
more
them-
vinegar.
If you wet them and salt them, yeah.
More vinegar than you used to, and it's not served on a newspaper. But you know what? They do okay.
Well, I feel restored. What were we talking about?
I believe that Olive and Horace were going to explain to us what happened that night after they left the library.
Yes.
I must first apologize to you, Olive. You are correct. I left for parts unknown without considering whether you would follow. Amidst your zealous purification.
What do all those words mean? I don't. Is that an insult or?
I had meant to speak with Edmund, clarify some thoughts that I had in the library. He was less than pleased at my questions. Horace kind of unconsciously starts like rubbing at his stomach, where I assume there's now a scar. He's probably lost a good bit of weight over the last 3 months, I'd imagine.
Food was pretty good.
What's that?
Food was pretty good. Could have been far worse.
Right, but I mean, considering his state, he wasn't always eating it.
Fair.
He was
Yes.
using it as ink.
Yeah.
Listen,
Olive,
yeah.
in a sense, came to my rescue after I was skewered. And the similar process to what Olive underwent in her arm occurred to the entirety of Edmund's von Cartwright.
Yeah, about that. I don't know how long he was sticking around for. I kind of all the details are a little bit blurry that night, but you know, I took the worm. I stole it. You guys said let's leave it in the car, and I said nope. Why would we leave our best weapon in the car? And so I stole it under your noses, and I brought it in, and I put that worm on not Raymond. No, not you. Otherwise, you would.
Edmund.
Edmund, thank you. I put the worm on Edmund after he stabbed, Horace. I figured, let's just see what happens, because our friends are dying and stuff. And so the worm, it grew to a monstrous size, and it ate, ate Edmund, and then I was there by myself fighting a giant monster worm, and I haven't been doing good since.
It ate him,
Oh yeah.
so it was a different circumstance to when one of the worms touched you then.
I imagine if you didn't shoot that worm off of me, it would have grown and eaten me. But But I didn't allow this worm to escape Edmund. I made sure that he was nice and gone because I figured, we could, I could have maybe tried to wrestle the worm off of him, but I figured this guy is going to keep trying to end the world with his crazy beliefs because, let's be honest, his beliefs were kind of crazy.
He was an absolute louse, of course.
Yeah.
Good show.
So I figured just kill somebody, Olive. That's such an easy thing to do and to cope with for the rest of your life. Just take somebody's life. Play God with a giant monster worm. So yeah.
Olive.
I found that sometimes expressing yourself more makes it easier. You seem very stressed about the situation.
No, I'm great, Tommy. I'm fine. Everything's great.
Doubt. Olive, you became a bit of a recluse in the last few months, and you say you're fine, and I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna take you at face value because you're my friend. But I do want to say, and perhaps you need to hear, thank you for doing what you did.
Hey, it almost cost me my life. But, the world is saved. The creepy future that apparently, Tommy and Horace saw. Maybe. Does it still exist? I mean, I still don't really understand how these folds work. So is it like that actually there's a world out there that's like, oh, you know what? I don't care.
I'm probably not going to stay in New York just on the off chance.
Yeah.
If you're going to stay in New York, move to, I think it was far uptown. That part survives the flooding.
Oh, great. I'll get right on that.
Also, I'm sorry blowing me up has weighed heavy on you.
You
I
weren't
didn't
in the
blow up
building.
anything. Yeah.
Horace, why are you insisting on letting Mr. Cole believe that he was in the building with us? We all clearly left him in Raymond's automobile.
Yeah, and why would you assume I had anything to do with blowing up the building?
No, that one I think is fair.
Agreed.
I shall answer the second of those questions first. Yes, Olive, you did quite clearly ignite the room.
I mean, what's a couple Molotov cocktails between, monster eating worms?
Right.
No, that's fair. They do get out of hand. All's forgiven.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I suppose at least it wasn't the face of another poor soul.
Yeah, that's another thing. Just keep it coming, guys. This is why I stayed in touch with
So,
all of you,
Smith
because
Professor,
you bring
your
such
neighbor's
great
missing.
feelings.
I did not check in on Figaro. I don't know how he's doing at all.
I did check in and offer an apology to the man for my behavior, and how can anyone be in the situation that poor man finds himself?
I was hoping to never see any of you again, so I don't know how anyone is besides this circle.
Well, I understand wanting to distance yourself from it. There are memories that I have from the Indian campaigns out west that I don't want to recall in great detail as well. But in times of war, and when you are defending the lives of the innocent, violence is sometimes necessary, Miss Olive.
Speaking of violence, we gotta destroy that telescope, right?
I think that would be wise, yes.
What if the telescope is merely seeing something else that we need to address?
We don't want to see it. If we don't see it, it's not there.
But what we don't know can hurt us.
Quite.
No, we were in absolute bliss. Pure ignorance. And
Yeah.
plus, we were calm. Life is normal.
Yeah.
And then we looked, we peeked, we saw.
What if we need the telescope to find Mary?
What if we just steal the telescope then? At least then we know where it is and it
And
won't
if
fall
we-
into the wrong hands.
And if we hadn't seen Mr. Cole, I suspect the population of one of the largest cities on this planet would no longer exist.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Tommy and Horace, we met this professor lady who was apparently developing a telescope that can see weird happenings that are happening here. And we use the telescope to look at each other, and you can see like everything, like inside of a human being. And Horace, when you kind of left me behind to die, not that I'm still holding that against you or anything, but it kind of looked a little bit like that as well.
Like the
Things
And-
see folds. Is that how it works?
I don't know.
Perhaps things that have been affected by a fold, or it could. There are a number of theories that I've been bouncing around in my head. Perhaps it is anything that doesn't belong fully in reality as we know it. We've only just had a few moments with the device, but I would venture to say that it not only saw, as Olive expressed, the inner workings of our physical form, but there was a spiritual aspect as well, but trailing off of us and into the infinite distance.
As if everything was somehow contained within a single point.
Has everything perhaps led to a single point? Yes. They were individual points, and then as we became close, physically, the points became one.
Yes, of course. Many meaning to one. Stretching out the perhaps. Professor, there is much to talk about. Of course, take out his notebook, where he would have written everything he could remember from the book. What was it?
A Côte de Mons?
No, the one in German that he found in other New York. Helped him set up the ritual. Everything he could remember about that, everything he could remember about the ritual itself, about the mathematics of this travel between worlds.
Okay.
I am close, or was close, perhaps, to mathematics of a different kind. To touch and to move matter between realities, beyond even what I had studied with Edmund, or will have studied with Edmund, perhaps. It was able to bring us back here, broken but intact. I should like to see this telescope, if it can project an image of fragments of worldly disturbance. It may elucidate myself and Tommy's condition.
Yes, you may find a conversation with the professor to be highly illuminating.
I am certain. is why I asked for you, Professor. Thank you, of course, for coming.
I believe he meant the woman that has the telescope, not myself.
Oh, I see.
Also a professor here at the university, Miskatonic, I believe it is, yes.
Of course.
But maybe we shouldn't be so quick to trust people who are messing with things that shouldn't be messed with.
Would I, of any of us, not know what those people look like, and those who can and cannot be trusted?
Hmm.
You did walk straight into Edmund's knife, so...
And were quite friendly and familiar with him prior to, well, things hitting the fan, as it has been said, I've heard. But to Olive's point, gentle as doves whenever possible, of course, but wise as serpents, Olive. We should, of course, keep our wits about us.
At the very least, we should seek to understand what it is she's doing. If only so that we can effectively combat it. Such was my Achilles heel for so long with Edmund, no? I did not comprehend all that he did, and it led to my sequential and repeated downfall.
I have a feeling we're never gonna understand what's going on.
Yet there is only knowledge to be found in the attempt.
Okay.
I can't help but feel that several months ago I woke up in a hospital and then had a meal with the lot of you and agreed to look into some weird stuff. It's now several months later, I've woken up in a hospital and here I am at that meal. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to come. I'm going to come. Obviously, let's go look at the weird stuff. But I want to make some money out of it this time. I'm pretty sure all of my stuff got sold at my place. I haven't been there in months. No one's paid rent. I need to make some money out of it this time.
I'm not sure where the money is to be made, Mr. Cole, but I'm happy to do what I can. I'm sure all of us are happy to do what we can to ensure that you're making ends meet.
Mhm.
You
Maybe
are
next
welcome
time.
to stay at my home when we return to New York, if you would like. I'm sure that I can make arrangements. There are a few rooms that are currently not in use. I didn't mean to speak over you, Olive, please.
No, that's a way better suggestion than what I was going to suggest. I was just going to say next time we break into a really rich man's house and we're going to end up killing him, we might as well steal his stuff so we can sell it later. Let's plan better next time.
I actually was more thinking that, but
Thank you.
I
Yeah, just
appreciate the offer, Professor.
Can we not premeditate murder and theft, please?
Too late.
yeah. Once you
Right.
murder one
Well,
person, you gotta murder a bunch of people. I don't know how it works. I never murdered before.
These things
You
do kind of
guys.
snowball.
Hello. Yes. Yes. I don't refill, please. Thank you.
It's Lucretia Palmer, Professor Palmer. She goes,
Oh.
Oh,
Professor?
Oh, hello.
Oh, sure, I can't see them behind people.
Professor,
Yes, Professor.
we were looking through the telescope, and I'm guessing these are your friends. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. So the other lights started moving, and we were able to determine where one is. And Lori went running. She's convinced Mary's there.
What?
hope you don't need sleep, Raymond. Let's see
Apparently
how long you
not.
can go.
I'm gonna keep pushing.
We should probably go.
Yes, now.
Yes,
I'm up and I'm following her out the door.
And in the 15 minutes it takes the professor to get to the car, we're gonna have paid, settled up accounts.
gonna chug some more alcohol as we run out to catch up with Raven because I'm gonna join him on this bender.
Okay.
This can only go well.
Mhm.
Nothing will go wrong.
The plan can't go wrong if we don't have a plan.
Gosh.
So
You're not incorrect.
first of all, do you have a car, an automobile?
Yes,
That'd
my
be
vehicle.
faster. We won't be able to catch her. Sorry, it took some time to find you. You see it. So you now see she has like this satchel, that's pretty sizable, over her shoulder, and she goes, just up Garrison Street. We need to go up the hill.
Just tell me where to turn.
So you're heading up the hill, and she pulls out like a little couple pieces of glass. It was like a little monocle
Professor.
thing, and she's like, "Wait, this didn't work before, but they're easier to see now.
That's a bad sign.
Hey.
Is it?"
I was sure that the other lights you saw would be our companions, Mr. Cole and Mr. Young.
See, this is
No.
why we should never have brought ourselves together, because
There-
now the lights are out.
Well, there were more than just the lights over by the asylum. So you're rushing up as she's kind of yelling. She's there was some up the hill, and there's other lights out there that didn't match. And they're not any more active, but there's other colors and stuff out there. I would have spoken more, but you had to rush off to your compatriots. But we need to, one thing at a time. I don't think this will do off road. Pull over onto Washington, and we'll have to trek through the hill a bit. So you pull over, you start heading up the hill. The town has, as you've gone up Garrison, it's become increasingly sparse. As you've made your way up there, as you have gone towards the edge of the hill, it's turned from Syrinscape not responding. It's turned from a town to increasingly rural to spotted woods, the New England woods, which have been let to regrow quite a bit. And she starts tromping through someone's backyard and out into the woods as you all go.
I would take a moment to hand over firearms to anyone who would like to carry one, because I did bring them with us.
Good.
I think
I just grabbed my baseball bat.
sounds great.
I have a road flare, and that's all I can trust myself with.
I have a double-barreled shotgun here, and a handful of slugs, and I have my hunting rifle. If anyone would like to carry them,
I would like the rifle, please.
you're welcome to it. Here you are, lad. And here's a box of rounds.
I kind of grab both these things, check them over, make sure everything's working properly.
Yep. The presser does keep things in fine condition.
I give him a nod at that, like just sort of, thank you, and like nod at it working.
So you start to make your way into the forest. It's getting it's a little bit dark, but there's a full moon ahead above, a clear sky. Any of you who glance upwards with the anxiety of making sure there's not a Leviathan or anything out there are perhaps given a modicum of calm from there not being anything there. It's just the normal night sky. The air's crisp around you, and it has that initial smell that snow is probably not too far away. And you make your way up into the hill, and you can see Lori is up ahead in a small clearing. She has an oil lantern, and she's checking her pistol, and there is probably a little bit of a cleft into kind of the hillside. It's about 4 feet tall, and she looks over. She goes, "Oh, excellent! You made it. Someone's inside."
Why would you just simply? Why would you, Lori? That was ridiculously dangerous.
We had a chance to get Mary back. I didn't go running in. I'm within shouting distance of town.
So
The
you've simply
SSD knows where I am.
But you've been standing here in the dark while the professor came to get us anyway. You could have simply come with her and gathered us.
I didn't know what was here. I didn't know if she would be... I didn't know she'd be flickering in and out of reality again.
What makes you think that Mary is here?
And she has a couple of the lenses and she's fiddling with. She goes, the light, it's coming from in the cave. There's someone or something down there that has been through what you have.
And you know this because
it's the same light that you have.
But do we know enough about these lights to say for certain that is what that similarity means, what you think that it means?
Were they at the asylum?
Yes.
You don't think it's Edmund down there, do you?
How far is this cave
Or
from where we are?
his father.
Oh, she's like 4 feet from the cave.
Okay, yeah. My gun is raised at the cave at this point.
Okay.
If it is her, and if she has returned from a similar circumstance as Thomas and I, be careful. She will not be herself. She will likely be confused, perhaps violent, for no fault of her own. I shall go in first.
Oh, okay. If you're gonna say she's gonna be violent, maybe I should at least go with you, because again, last time we were together, you took a dagger, and fell down.
And here I am, perfectly well.
That's questionable. Come on, let's go.
Horace ducks in.
Yeah, I'm walking with you.
Raymond's gonna follow behind. He's gonna pop that flare.
I'm not convinced that it is her. There must have been dozens of New Yorkers affected by that Leviathan's brushes with our reality. It could be any of them. It could be the Von Cartwrights for all we know.
That's why I'm
No.
bringing this.
Quite right, Mr. Cole.
Even to my limited understanding, the Von Cartwrights have been systematically annihilated.
Yeah, on this fold. What if there was another fold that they unfolded and were able to get to this fold? Again, I don't really know how these folds work.
That is
So,
a very disconcerting thought.
yeah,
That the word fold is losing its meaning.
it really is. Does anyone got any pocket worms I can borrow?
I left mine at my
No, I
hotel.
just had the one.
Do you?
No,
Oh.
I just had.
You just had. Got it. Okay. Well, here goes nothing.
I
Yeah,
think that's a
I
great...
walk with them, gun up.
Yeah. I think that's a great spot to end it for this evening. Heading down into the cave for what's going to happen next time.
Will Raymond ever get a night of sleep again?
No.
I cannot believe we are all walking into a cave arguing out loud with each other.
Fantastic. No
Leave him
notes.
alone, Bender.
We are ridiculous.
No notes. Thank you again, Wandering Souls, for watching us as always. Music and sound effects are provided by the wonderful Syrinscape. art by The Dungeon Sketcher. You can find him on Patreon. Our own Professor Herbert Francis Devenald is going to be hosting Strahd on Sundays.
Alternate Sundays
coming up. Dungeons and Deities tomorrow, Wednesday nights. Joel also runs games at StartPlaying.Games/jam/leonidas-games. It's all awesome. Again, those maps are by Stygian Fox.
Who are awesome for giving them to us. Absolutely.
They're fantastic. We'll make sure to tag them and the social medias after the fact. You're all awesome. Cast, crew, Wandering Souls, every last one of you. Season 2!
Jazzy.
We need extra jazzy hands for season 2.